अप्रैल में होने वाली नासा ह्यूमन एक्सप्लोरेशन रोवर चैलेंज 2021 में भाग लेने के लिए ओडिशा के नवोन्मेष प्रसार स्टूडेंट एस्ट्रोनॉमी टीम यानी कि नैपसैट के 10 स्कूली छात्रों को चुना गया है। आपको बता दें कि नवोन्मेष प्रसार फाउंडेशन की एक पहल नैपसैट जो कि भुवनेश्वर में है। नैपसैट अंतरिक्ष में रुचि रखने वाले लोगों की एक टीम है जो विभिन्न अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कार्यक्रमों में भाग लेने के लिए अंतरिक्ष प्रणालियों, रोवर्स, रॉकेट्स, उपग्रह और खगोल विज्ञान के डिजाइन को समझने और जानने में लगे हुए हैं। आइए नवोन्मेष प्रसार फाउंडेशन के फाउंडर अनिल प्रधान से ही समझते हैं कि नासा ह्यूमन एक्सप्लोरेशन रोवर चैलेंज 2021 क्या है, इसमें किन स्टूडेंट्स को चुना गया है और ये स्टूडेंट्स नासा के इस चैलेंज में क्या करने वाले हैं।
तो सबसे जो सुखद बात है इस समय का वो ये है कि भारत में पहली बार किसी स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स का एक टीम है जिनको नासा रोवर चैलेंज के लिए सिलेक्ट किया गया है। तो ये एक टीम हम लोगों ने क्रिएट किया वर्चुअली, अभी जस्ट जब कोविड टाइम आ गया, जब ज़्यादा मूव लोग नहीं हो पा रहे थे, उस समय में 10 ऐसे बच्चों को हम लोगों ने निकाला पूरे उड़ीसा में से जो टेक्निकली बहुत साउंड थे, जो कुछ और करना चाहते थे, तो जो देश के लिए कुछ करना चाहते थे। तो वैसे हम लोगों ने 10 बच्चों को पूरे उड़ीसा से निकाला। फिर हम लोगों ने उनको बहुत सारा ट्रेनिंग दिया और फिर हम लोगों ने अप्लाई किया नासा रोवर चैलेंज के लिए। सो पहली बार के लिए ऐसा हुआ है हिस्ट्री में कि एक ऐसा टीम जो उड़ीसा में है वो सिलेक्ट हुआ है नासा रोवर चैलेंज के लिए। और ये एक ऐसा इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी टीम है जिसमें स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स ही नहीं, ITI के स्टूडेंट्स भी हमारे साथ हैं। और ये लोग बनाने वाले हैं एक ह्यूमन रोवर, एक ऐसा रोवर जो मार्स की सतह पर चल सकता है, लेकिन ये पूरा ह्यूमन पावर्ड रोवर रहेगा। तो ये जो चैलेंज है, हम लोग को इनविटेशन आया है नासा से, और ये जो चैलेंज है ये अप्रैल 2021 को होने वाला है।
Good morning,
Hey,
everyone.
scientists. Good morning,
Hello.
sir.
Good morning. So this is not going to be a talk. Let me tell you this. This is going to be an interaction, and this is the way I prefer, because the one-way traffic is very difficult to. You are going to get almost very little value from a one-way traffic. So it should be rather a two-way traffic. You will tell me something, and I will tell you whatever I know. So my name is Himadri Shekhar Das. I work as scientist E in meteorology department. I am the group head of its instrumentation section. I am from integrated test range Chandipur. That is one of the laboratories of Defense Research and Development Organization. Presently, I'm doing my MTech in Computer Science and Engineering from IIT Guwahati. As you know, some of you also filled the feedback form. I asked you to give your feedback on what you want to discuss with me. So this talk is not limited to only these points. There are other points you can rise up, but I'll be limiting my talk with some discussion on the responses received, a little talk on DRDO, what it is, what it does, and the career options in DRDO. Something about the past, present, and future in technology. That's what we are going to look. What I'm doing in ITR Chandipur. Some talk about space science and some plan on how you want to go ahead with your career and with your life. A little bit on artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer science, coding, as such. And whatever we are doing, we are studying science, mathematics, physics, electronic psychology, and all the other stuffs, and how they are linked with one another. But again, I am saying that we are not limited only on these points. We can have discussions on anything that you have in your mind, and we can share our ideas with each other. I have received 9 responses as of I've checked 9 a.m. in this morning. So 2 responses of one person, so the tally goes to 8. Most of the responses what I received regarding DRDO, the people are interested in knowing about DRDO, what it is doing, what are the career options in DRDO. So that is what I'm going to discuss at length. Some of you are also interested in knowing some tidbits about the science and technology and how the past, present, and future holds for them, and how to go ahead with your career and with your life. That is also you have mentioned in your responses. So about DRDO, I would like to know what ideas you have about DRDO. You can tell me.
So, sir, DRDO is a Defense Research and Development Organization which works for means which works and makes development in the field of defense. It makes missiles, space, aircrafts, and all the other stuff related to defense and the security of India.
Okay. Anyone else want to say something? Or I am good to go. Okay, fine. See, the thing is like a coin having two parts. Similarly, we say defense and offense are two parts of the same coin, and generally no one talks about offense. Maybe like superpowers like United States of America or Germany or France, maybe they can directly talk about offenses, but we term it as a defense. So defense also covers offense. What I wanted to say. So Defense Research Development Organization, as the name is implying, is all about the research and development on the defense and offense capabilities of our country. So if you just perceive in that way, it ranges from the personnel who are employed in defense either on soil like army, they are present at the border. Okay, the people of the navy are marshalling our seas, and the air force is going to take care of the sky. There is also another part that has emerged after the Cold War session, and that is about defense and offense capabilities in the space. That we are not generally mentioning in this aspect. We talk about army, navy, and air force. But that is also an aspect, defense and offense capabilities of the space, because after the Cold War was over, both USA and USSR, even during the Cold War days also, they were also trying to develop capabilities of first strike from the space to the ground level. That is also there. DRDO is doing its research work in order to strengthen our army, navy, and air force. Now, you can start thinking about what are the different aspects. You can say in a border, we see the fences which are going to separate the two nations of whichever between which the border lies. From that fencing, the defense work starts. You have to have surveillance. You are having you have deployed manpower in the border. So this manpower has to provided with certain instruments and certain gears. Now these instruments and gears can be used for surveillance, can be used for making offensive actions, can be used for making defensive actions. For surveillance, you need to have drones, cameras, and you should also have secure communication medium from one place to another, so that your whatever you are communicating, if intercepted, cannot be decrypted, and your intelligence remains secure. You also have to make sure you have the strike capabilities. You should have guns, you should have mortars, you should have tanks, you should have mm, the different kind of firing capabilities like self-propelled rockets, missiles, etc., available with you to make the defensive actions. You should also have radars, and you should have other mediums, like I said, when you are going to make sure your communication is encrypted. At the same time, you have to also make sure if the enemy is making a communication, you should have the capability to intercept it and decrypt it to understand what they are communicating. That is also required, but that comes under the defense mechanism, not an offense mechanism. You also have to take care of the health and safety and security of the personnel who are deployed there, so that you have to provide them with good clothing which can protect them from harsh environment. You have to feed them, because at the high altitudes it is not possible to grow fresh food there, or you can have fresh food. So we also have our laboratories who are working on this packaged food for them, psychological help, medicinal help. Everything is covered in this in our DRDO work to provide capabilities to our defense forces. So for this purpose, we have a large number of laboratories that are spread across the whole country. Each laboratory is tasked with a, some of the projects to a particular area of defense or offense. Now, those who are interested to work in DRDO, most of the information you will get through drdo.gov.in. You can look into every tab and you will get all the information: what DRDO does, what its organization layout is, what are the different areas of work. Okay, and there is also another site, rec.gov.in. This is about recruitment to the DRTS cadre. There are two cadres, there are three cadres actually: DRDS, DRTC, and admin and allied. So DRDS are generally those who possess a degree and get absorbed as scientists in DRDO. DRTC cadres are those who are joining as technical assistant, senior technical assistant, and later on technical officers and such. And admin and allied cadre are those who are working in stores, finance, HR, and administrative divisions. So these are the three cadres in DRDO that we have. REC is generally about those who are having a degree and pursue their career in the DRDS cadre. Now DRDO does campus placement. There are IITs, there are NITs in which DRDO visit almost every year, and they pick up graduates from those institutes, mostly engineering and technology institutes. There is also nowadays a provision from which the gate score, according to the gate score, a short list is prepared. After that, interview takes place to recruit scientists in DRDO. For being a scientist in DRDO, you should have a graduate degree in engineering, or you can have a master's in science, the different branches of sciences: physics, mathematics, biology, etc. So these are the minimum qualification that you need to have in order, and you also have to appear in gate examination, and you should have a good score to get shortlisted. That's what the requirements are. There are also at times when advertisement will come into the public domain, but there they ask for people with certain experience. We should have certain experience in a particular field, work in some department or the other for a period of 2 or 3 years in a particular area of work, and then only you will get selected in the RDO. That is for the experienced person. There they ask for people. There is something known as septum jobs. DRDO, like RAC, has another wing known as Septum, which takes into the DRDC candidates. There, people can join in as technical assistant, senior technical assistant. Also, admin and allied care are also taken care of by taken care by Septum. So for that, you see, the basic minimum qualification that is required is ITI. Also, diploma people are taken as STA, but ITI I think they are taken for technical assistance TS. And those who has some certificate courses in Hindi, our Raj Bhasha, or they have pursued their study in arts department with the graduation and certificate, they can look into this admin and allied jobs. So those come from the Septum advertisements. They are also maybe in every year, maybe skipping 1 or 2 years in between. They publish such advertisements, and all of such advertisements are available in drdo.gov.in. So that's how, depending on uh, what your educational qualification is, what your experience is, and how you want to pursue your career in DRDO, we can look for. I've already explained what we do in DRDO, but here I have put this point. You see, research and development are two very big words. Research is when you try to find out what you have and try to find out what you need to provide in future, what the current technologies are, what you can develop with these technologies, and whether your whatever you are developing is going to be of any importance in future. The future is near future, maybe something around 5 or 10 years, because the development period will require some time. The research and development period, they generally they vary from 5 to 15 years. So you have to make sure whatever you are doing is still going to be of importance after 20 years. Though generally we say technology changes over 5 or 10 years, so aiming for a 20-year period is very difficult, and that is one of the problem. So here, what we are presently trying to do, we are trying to make that we should be able to do the research and development in a span of 3 to 5 years, and the technology should be valid, says up to 10 years. That's what presently we are gunning for. Now I have put a point on advice. Now, when there was an era when there are scientists actually, there are people who took interested in science, they explored the different areas of science, specialized in a particular area, they did invention by their own, maybe with the help of some financial support, but mostly of their own. That was an era when individual research and development worked. Whatever we see in literature, all these great people, uh, Newton and Einstein and those scientists, they were not employed directly by some organization at the beginning. They did some work by their own, got into academia or an institution, and thereafter they have produced a number of work. But here, when you are joining DRDO, you are joining DRDO as an individual, but you have to work in a team. So there will be team for which the task may be already defined. You will be a part of the team and do some work as a whole. It may not be what you thought about. It may be what you want to do. That's what you have to be careful. Also, there is provision for personal growth. It may happen that you may come up with your own ideas and you can present those ideas in front of your superiors. And if your presentation is good, then the project may be taken up. And this process can happen. This also happens at many scenarios, but mostly what you should be prepared that you will be given task and you will have to do those tasks. So that is what happens in most cases. There are cases where individual growth comes into the picture. What your ideas, you can present those ideas, and those also work out. But mostly the works will be given to you. That is the whole scenario about DRDO. Now, questions. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Anyone has
Yeah.
any question
Yes.
regarding DRDO?
No, sir, you can continue.
No question. Everything is clear.
So, which part of DRDO would you recommend?
Okay. Which part of DRDO? You see, uh, if you are talking about DRDS, DRTC, so that's a particular thing, or you are talking about the directorates. There is a directorate of naval system development, there is a directorate of missile, there is a directorate of electronics, and so how you are categorizing? Recommendation based on?
So, recommendation based on, suppose, let's keep it personal, sir. So, like, I would like to do something related to biology. So, where would I like to go?
You were interested
So,
in
biology.
biology. See, when we talk about biology, there are aspects where we we talk about the kind of health and hygiene support to our defense personnel at post. As I said, we are going to discuss about. We are going to take care of the kind of needs for the people, like medicine, like food, okay, like the kind of extreme environment puts a kind of psychological barrier to them, so we have to provide that support also. We have to give them uh, some kind of material which they can wear to fight against the extreme heat in the desert, which can try to fight against the extreme coldness in the mountains. Okay, so the protective clothing section, camouflage, some biology part is also there, though that is also, I mean, there is a mixed science. This I can remember from biology.
Yes, sir. Sure. This new idea of creating a second skin for the soldiers who are on foot at the borders is currently even under research, with a skin that is very good at repairing itself at very high rates, or even as you talked about camouflage, mixing in with the environments. So
Yeah,
I think, sir, that would be great
yes.
to work at.
That's what. See, someday you are going to specialize on a particular skill set. Okay. In DRDO, there is also, this is a little hindrance. We though recruit people for that particular skill set, but we also want them to work with different situations and different environments and different projects and with different skills. So there is a little problem. Say somebody is only interested in physics, maybe is a particular say he is interested in this kind of motion and all the other things. Okay, the potential energy, kinetic energy. Say the particular interest is in this section only, but he may also have to do the man management. He or she may also look into some other ballistic kind of things. Okay, so though you
Sir,
were,
I don't think that's more of kind of hindrance. I think it's a very well planned system, because as we may come in as a very rigid system, but the whole system of DRDO would help us to become a little more flexible, to come out of our comfort zone and work in. So I think it's kind of an overall development and less of a hindrance.
yes, but why I see when I choose the word, I specifically choose the word because of in certain context. Say suppose you are a mechanical engineer and suddenly you are thrown in a domain where most of the work is regarding electronics. You may at first feel a little difficult there. Okay, and even worse, we are also having this motor transport and logistics and management kind of things. So when a technical person is put into the other work, he or she may feel a little starting problem with that work. Though, if you think about the personality development and overall development, that kind of scenario, that is good, very good. Okay, so I put the hindrance in the same for those people who think that I want to only work in a particular area and beyond that I don't want to go. Is it clear?
Yes, it's crystal
Hello.
clear.
Fine. So now about past, present, and future in technology. You see, from the beginning of humankind, we we explored a number of things, right? From the invention of fire. No, I won't say invention. It should be a discovery. Invention of a wheel is obviously an invention. Discovery of fire. So we tried to take whatever the nature has offered us and build upon them. First, we struggled for our survival by hunting, farming, and thereafter we tried to develop them. We tried to develop our farming sector with different inventions, and thereafter have seen in European countries, and thereafter in US, the industrial revolution. First, it was there in European countries, obviously, where a number of industries grown up. Now, whatever those are, they were related to mostly mechanical ways. We have seen uh, the craftsmanship to make big gears, big pulleys, whatever, whoever you are from the mechanical department, you can remember this theory of machines, thermodynamics, though civil engineering, though those are the sciences which science and technology which grew up in that era. Civil engineering, electrical engineering, sorry, civil engineering and mechanical engineering. After that, we have seen this period when we have come to know about electricity, all about electrons, how the electricity works, how it can be generated and how it can be used for uh, doing all the kind of for converting all the kind of manual labor to an automated labor. After that, we have seen the era of transistors, and this transistors era has led to the development of electronics. Day by day, we are sinking the number of gates in a transistors are increasing, and the size of the chip or the die is decreasing. So this is the era of electronics. Thereafter, we have seen the surge in the development of computers, especially personal computers. Previously, what we had big mainframes which were installed in a building. They required huge electricity and air conditioning to work. Even a 4 kilobyte of memory would need to take the storage of a 6 by 8 feet wardrobe to work on. Now, see from that how much we have developed. And during the development, we have seen the rise of personal computers. Previously, what is going to happen whenever you have a computer, either people are going to share that computer, there will be time slots when you work on that computer, or maybe a number of dumb terminals will be installed, like Unix 5, HP Unix 5 system, where you are doing this again, the time sharing concept. Okay, you are using the processor time for doing your own work. But after that, due to the low cost and advent in high technology, in the sense that the processing power as well as the capabilities of the memory has increased, we have seen the rise of personal computers. And finally, we have seen all the personal computers are connected with each other, and there are academic networks like ARPANET, and finally given rise to internet. Okay, and nowadays we talk about cloud computing, big data, because data is available everywhere. When you just send a message to another person regarding something, that is a piece of data. You are sending a picture, you are posting a video, all are part of the data. So much of data is available nowadays, that has given this concept of big data, how the data should be organized, how the data should be mined for information. Okay, storage analysis, all this comes under the purview of big data. Previously we used the term of data mining. Now, since the data does not only talk about text data, they are talking about this video and audio, the multimedia data. So this relates to big data. Cloud computing, again, see, previously when the generation was of time sharing system, when was a big mainframe was working and people are using chunk of time. Now we are having similar concept, but that is taking internet to the account to give this concept of cloud computing. You are having a big chunk of resource available at a particular place, and you can share the resource. I can, you can either share the resource or you can share the application, and you can build from it. What are the pros of them? You don't have to invest your whole money to make your own infrastructure. You are saving your money there. At the same time, you can hire only a segment, whatever your uh, need. So you are taking a small segment of them and use it for a lower investment. Also, there is a provision for scalability. When you have to grow it up, you can always hire more resources from either the particular supplier or maybe some from other suppliers also. So that's how the cloud computing works. But that also leads to severe challenges in terms of security. Okay, because everything is working over a public domain internet. You are using your VPN to make sure a secure environment of your own. You are having other protocols like IPsec, etc., which tries to make sure your end-to-end communications are secured. You have to also fight against all the kind of malware, phishing, spamming, virus, trojans, so many things. So that is a challenge in terms of cloud computing. Apart from how efficiently you are allocating and using your resources. And very recently, me somewhere about 5 to 6 years back, we have seen the rise of machine learning, where we are talking about intelligent machines. The machines, we are not going to code directly. I am not going to say it, if this happens, then do this work. Okay, not everything is covered under that. Machine should be able to learn from its pitfalls, from the data it is provided with. Like we human, what we do, we learn from our environment, we learn from our teachers, we learn from our own mistakes. So the machine should be able to learn. So many technologies of machine learning have been developed over the time being. Okay, and the field of AI is quite old, but with the advent of new machine learning technologies, again the age-old belief in artificial intelligence has come into the picture. There are some people who are for it, there are some people who are against it, but obviously, in the future, artificial intelligence is going to play a huge role in this technology development and technology transfer domain. We have also seen the kind of work that is being done on robotics. Yes, of course, there are situations where sending a human for the doing the work is difficult, and even there are there are concerned about the safety of a human being to do such kind of work. Robotics was, it took its birth from that philosophy. There are some jobs which we want to be done, but not with the manual intervention. Rather, some machine should do the work. Now, see, from that earlier philosophy, how much we have grown. We are not now talking about um, talking robots. The robots which can talk with you, interact with you, even can give you personal comfort. There are different videos about Sofian and all the others. such kind of stuff uh, which are provided with the capabilities, artificial intelligence capabilities to talk like a human. And maybe someday someone will pass the Turing test. You may have some information about where it is being said that a machine will behave in such a way that you cannot discriminate whether it is a machine or a man. So what I perceive in my notion in the near future is all about where the human and the robots are going to exist together in the part, maybe some part of humanoid also. The exploration of outer space, because we are emptying our mother earth from the resources, and we are seeing the climate change, we are seeing how the nature is getting disturbed. So there will be a time, it is not only in science fiction, there will be a time when we have to explore for other avenues. Preservation of the earth, whatever it is also of great importance. You will see the terms like clean energy, sustained development, okay, green and eco-friendly works, industries. People are buzzing with these words now. And why it is this? Because we know we are making the earth devoid of resources, we are making the earth a very polluted place. So, how to preserve whatever we have left is going to play a vital role in the future. Now, anything you have to say or ask?
Sir, I was just asking that have you heard about the Kardashev scale?
No. Can you
Sir,
illuminate me?
yes, sir. So the Kardashev scale is basically a scale that represents what level of civilization we currently are. Now, every classification has a basis, and therefore the basis of this very scale is the amount of energy species is able to utilize. Like
Okay.
suppose the first one
Mhm.
we were the very first level is utilizing energy from its own planet. Now, what I'm talking about here is about the cosmos theory. So the first level, which I think we're almost at the end of the first one, is to utilize the maximum amount of optimum utilization of the resources present on its own planet. Then the second level goes to the time where the species is able to use the resources from its own solar system, using energy from its star. For us, it's the sun, and minerals or other resources from different planets. Now, that how long do you think would it take for us to complete the first civilization and go to the second?
What I am seeing is there is an in between section between the first and second that you have mentioned. You see, we are using our Earth's resources, but we have not completely drained it of our resources as such till now. For the second phase to start, still those are in fiction. Obviously, there are so many fictions that have uh, what actually materialized in the real world. We have seen how the Julia Verne's submarine, and we have seen how the modern submarines
Yes.
are. So obviously, fiction does play a huge role in the research and development of the futuristic technologies. Obviously, there will be a day when we'll move out from the Earth and we may inherit another planet where we can develop and sustain life on them. But uh, till now, that is not the situation. We are not in such a position where we can travel through the light years, so many light years, and we can find out a particular planet, and we can uh, do some kind of development out there and use its resources. So that is still very much difficult for us to do. So what we
So,
can do for now, we can think about whatever we left on this earth, how best to utilize them. Like we are talking nowadays, we are talking about not using fossil fuels like petrol and diesel, which are we going to end at some point of time. We are now more interested in the solar power driven vehicles, the hybrid, different type of hybrid vehicles with electrical and solar power things. Okay, so this is what we can do with whatever the resources that we have now. Maybe, as you were saying, maybe we can use the solar power to drive industries in the future. That is a scenario rather than using electricity that are generated from burning the oil or burning the nuclear uh, streams, because nuclear waste is also a important kind of thing. So that way we can think about the future development. And finally, there will be a time when we have to move out, we have to search for other resources elsewhere. That we have to do. Maybe 1,000 years from now, but that will be somewhere.
Yeah,
And
like I would like to add on this. So we are currently at 0.7 type civilization, and it's gonna take around a century to reach a type 1 civilization. And then after that, we can think of harnessing energy from our sun, making Dyson sphere and all the other stuff.
Yes. Why this question popped out is from the concept of the Dyson sphere that once used to be some child's dream. Today we are at the stage where we are able to plot it up on paper. We are we
yes,
have decoded like every problem. We have broken it down into simpler forms and have tried to solve each problem at the step. So when we are so close, I mean, to finalizing out on paper, it's gonna take some time to execute it out. But
yes.
we are near that future. We are not that far away.
Okay, I will take your word. Okay, we have different opinions on them. It is good. It is good. It is good to think positive, and we can say that maybe within a span of 15 years we can achieve that goal. Obviously, that is a very welcome move. Okay, I will take your point. Obviously, that is a
Yes.
good positive outlook towards it. Okay.
So until the world is divided by international borders and all, I think that would be the biggest hindrance. Like it's always mentioned, like when we have to evolve as the whole species. The humanity has to take this next step to the second part. Now, until unless there are borders, there are thinking about regional differences. We cannot go
Yes.
over that. So those
There
little
will be a
hindrances are the ones which are blots of ink on this theory paper. We need to clean them up, and then we can start thinking as a cosmopolitan upon to the next
correct.
civilization.
Totally agree with you. So can we move to the next?
Yes.
About me and my work, I joined DRDO in August 2002. I took my training in, now it is known as DIAT Pune. Previously, it was known as IAT Pune, Institute of Armament Technology. So I got training for about 6 months there from this August to December. Thereafter, from then I have been posted in Chandipur, integrated test in Chandipur. In from 2003 to 2015, I worked in a networking department. We have to provide our network backbone for the transfer of data, which involves all the kind of text data, audio and video data from the different remote stations to the central servers where they can be processed. We also provide services because the hardware is not going to work individually, so you have to provide software for them so that the whole work can be done. So my first phase of career there in ITR Chandipur is with networking and software development. I especially worked in providing web-based solutions with at that time ASP 3.0 was relevant, ASP, HTML4, and a bit of Visual C++ based desktop development, Visual Basic based development. Okay, thereafter I moved to some of the .NET technologies. I never worked in Java, to unfortunately, but during my college days, I also looked into some Java technologies as such. Presently, after 2015, I have been put in meteorology department. That also has different stations. They also have their networking requirement. So, to give an example, you can say you are having a station which is gathering surface wind data at point X. Your server is located at point Y. Okay. Now the distance may be say about 2 kilometers. Are you going to make sure the data that is there, taken from point X, is in timely fashion and in correctly fashion is transferred to time Y, station Y. So what you have to ensure? You have to ensure not only proper functioning of the instrumentation that is there in X and Y, you also have to ensure that whatever data is gathered is stored in such a way that it may not affect. If you lose a particular center, the data is still available with us. There is, you have to take care. You also have to take care the data is transmitted correctly. Though nowadays their error control mechanism is such developed that we generally miss data on transmission, but still you have to ensure that. And apart from that, the new challenges that were given to me since 2019 is about forecasting. You see, this weather science, a big chunk of activities that place is about forecasting. Whether it is going to rain heavily in this monsoon, whether we are going to face a drought. So all these are taken from the national point of view, from the India as a country point of view. It is taken care by IMD. Okay, but IMD has particular stations at particular areas. They cannot cover each and every area, and they cannot focus on a particular area only. So we have our meteorology station there at Chandipur. We are not covering the data for all over India. We are covering data only about the Chandipur, say about 10 kilometer of radius around that. We gather the data which is required for us. We analyze those data, and now previously forecasting was done in a different way. Now we are trying to use artificial intelligence and machine learning into this forecasting domain. We want to forecast about what could be the wind speed, what could be the temperature, what could be the pressure, what could be the time of tide. You see, high tide and low tide that are of importance to us. So these are the areas we are focusing now. And my current work is about this forecasting, how to make accurate forecast. Accuracy in the sense you cannot achieve 100% accuracy. As probability says, there cannot be either a total failure or it can be a total success. We are always counting between 0 and 1. So obviously, up to a certain degree of accuracy, we can forecast what is going to happen in the future. This is about my work. Now, if you have any question about my work, you can throw now.
Yes, sir. Like I had a question. So like
Yes.
I have also heard of machine learning. So I'm very fond. Like I had already started doing machine learning courses and all. So the main thing in machine learning is data collection and data analysis. I think that's
Yes.
yeah. So like data collection in the sense how do you approach the data? Like how do you collect the data? Like there is
So
that's my question. Yeah.
yes. Okay. Let me give you two examples as such. Okay, and I will explain it in the detail.
Yes, sir.
Fine. The first example is about cross-sectional data. Cross-sectional data is data which is collected at a point of time over a particular area. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can say that if today we are having this air index quality, we have AIQ,
Yeah. Yeah. Sir.
air quality index, AQI, I think. Okay, air quality index. So if you are saying all the different places there in India where the data is gathered about air quality, okay, at 9 a.m. in the morning. So that data constitute a cross-sectional data. At a particular point of time, you are gathering data over a region. Now, if you want to store that data, okay, analyze that data, that is known as storing and analysis of cross-sectional data.
Okay. Okay.
Is that understood?
Yes, sir. Got it. Okay.
Now, there are some kind of data which is very much tightly associated with time, like You see, there is a temperature at 7 a.m. in the morning, there is a temperature at the 8 a.m. in the morning, there is a temperature at the 9 a.m. in the
It
morning.
differs from each point of time, like it differs from one point, like
Yes.
one time period to another. Okay.
Yes. Now see, again there is a simple twist. Simple twist in the sense that, say at 9 a.m. you are measuring the temperature. That is an instantaneous temperature reading. Okay.
Okay.
Or it may happen that you are taking the average temperature between 8:30 to 9:30, okay, and you are making an average of them and you are putting at a single point of time. That is an averaging method.
Okay.
Maybe the interval is 1 hour,
Huh.
but where you are taking the data, either the data is an instantaneous data or an average data, that is again a question. Thereafter comes the concept of interval. How much interval you are gathering data? Are you gathering a data at an interval of 1 second, 2 second, 1 minute, 5 minute,
The
1 hour?
variance, maybe. Okay, that's the correct.
Pardon?
The variance that differs from each point to other. Maybe that.
The interval of data collection.
Okay.
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 So these are what we know as regular time series or time series as general. An analysis is known as time series data analysis. If you search these terms, okay, over the search engine, you will find a lot of literature on this.
Okay.
And I will talk about my current work, which is about predicting wind speed at a particular height, say about 2 kilometers from the surface. Now these data are not collected in a particular interval. Maybe today I am collecting the data, the next data can be collected after 2 days, maybe the day after that I can get also another set of data, maybe after 7 days I am going the next point of data. These constitute what is known as irregular time series, and this is a big challenge. People who are working on astronomy, people who are working on life sciences, people who are working on weather sciences, they are especially troubled with this kind of time series. They have their own challenges as such. And the basic challenge is due to because the interval is not regular. Because whenever we are going for analysis, we have to use statistics, and all the statistical formulation are based on the assumption that the interval is fixed and regular. Okay. So in summary, we have cross-sectional data, we have time series data. Time series data can be regular, can be irregular.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Anything else?
So actually, I wanted to add something. I wanted to ask a question. So, sir, while telling about the forecasting, the work you did, so you said that we used to calculate the temperature and the rainfall, humidity, or everything like at different points. So I was asking, at different altitudes, these all percentages and humidity or temperature, anything, the like the calculative expression, they may change at different altitudes. So I had the doubt that if you really have some that instruments which are physically present at that altitudes and all to collect all that information, or is it just a calculative data?
Very good question. You see, we are actually looking for an instrument which can say gather data about 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer. This is known as a radiometer, though we don't have that till now in our facility. What we have instead is something known as radio sonde. Previously, you will also get the literature about drop sonde. During the Second World War time, people used to drop a particular device from the aeroplane, which will come down to the earth, and the sensors attached to them while traveling used to gather all the data. Okay, after it is received on earth, they used to transfer the data manually to the system and analyze them. After that, there came a concept of radio sonde, where using balloons filled with hydrogen and helium gas, you are attaching that particular instrument and you are leaving it to ascend over the atmosphere. As it grows up, okay, it will the sensor attached to it will collect the data, and over telemetry, okay, that is working on this microwave, will send the data to the base station, and the base station will receive data. Okay, and this is the about of data collection. Anal is about saying what about obtained parameter and derived parameter. You will see when we talk about this temperature. Okay, there is a surface temperature. There is a uh, dry bulb thermometer that gives temperature. There is a wet bulb thermometer that gives temperature. There is a concept of humidity. So some of the parameters we derive for our purpose, and there are some parameters which are directly obtained from the instruments as such. It is a combination of both. But for the upper atmosphere, some of the parameters, like the surface parameters, some of the parameters are obtained through radio sonding, and some are derived using calculational means. Is this clear to you?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. So can we move to the next?
Yes, sir.
This is about again space science. When we talk about space science, we are mostly interested what we perceive and then what we know, because the universe is huge, and though there is a there it is debatable whether we can term it as a finite universe or an infinite universe. People will say, some will say finite, some will say infinite. So again, because we don't know what it is actually, there is still a lot of explanation to be done, and somehow we came to know about this space and time and how the relativity works. Okay, so we know some of them. We know some of the parameters, like we know there is a black hole concept which can absorb both space and time. But what happens in there is totally a theoretical aspect. No experiment can be done. Okay. Yet, obviously, yet maybe in future it can be done. So it is mostly fiction, and part of them is reality. So space science is all about knowing the universe, is knowing about the habitable planets, is knowing about the how we can do travel at the speed of light, or maybe if we can travel more than the speed of light, if it is possible. Obviously, again, a debatable matter as such. So it is a huge thing, and even I cannot say I have a 0.01 kind of percent of thing of information available with me, but still we can have a discussion. This is obviously the discussion is mostly based on what we perceive rather than what we know. So if you have anything to say or anything to discuss, I'm open now. It is like sharing. You can share with your colleagues also, not in this platform obviously, and all yours you can use this platform to just give your ideas or through your questions. Anything?
So yes, sir. Actually, to be personal, actually my aim is to become an astronomer and to like do theories about this time travel and this universe, extraterrestrial existence, and all such interesting topics. Obviously, it's a very like infinite chance of getting so many interesting stuffs and all. So that's why I was very much interested with that. So like some years before, I came to learn that like at a place, the Mount Kailash, the people they tend to become more aged just in 2 to 3 days. They get aged by a few years, like 7 to 8 years. So like, is there any scientific reason about that? Like there is something called like time travel happening over there and all?
We do not have.
Can I
Yes, please.
can I add on this? Yeah. So Varshini, see, if the space and time is an you can say four-dimensional substance. So if you are bending the space, you are also bending the time, and everything that has mass bends the space. Even the means like what is Earth gravity? What is the means the gravity that's pulling towards us? Okay, the Earth is if you see a means if you keep a paper and then put a ball on it, you can see that the paper bends. That's what is space. If you are bending the space, and in some other part of the space another planet is also bending it, and there are chances that the two bends can join together, which forms a wormhole, which can actually can distance means can reduce the distance of many light years to some single seconds. And when you are traveling such distance with a very short of time, you are doing time travel. That's what it is.
Okay. No, these are interesting thoughts and interesting points, and that's how we generally grow. You see, what I can say, we have some of the works that are in theory, maybe formally some theorems are also there. Now, you know the difference between hypothesis and a theorem. A hypothesis is something that we generally say, and when it can be proved using mathematical induction and other proof technologies, these proving technologies, they make theorems as such. There are some hypotheses that's relevant in today's work. There are some theorems also, but one of the most interesting thing in our science and technology domain is about when we do the practical experiment as such. And yes, we are still further away from doing this kind of practical experiments, but that does not stop us from developing our hypothesis and theory. And obviously, the best way is that what I feel is to join such kind of forums. Nowadays, you will see a large number of forums available across multiple platforms, from Reddit to Discord forums. You will see not only the people are talking about fashion and gossip, people are talking about this also. Most of them are going to be useless, but the point is that the more you go there, the more you dig deeper, maybe something interesting come up, and you may form a team and discuss realistically what can be done, or even develop your hypothesis and try to prove them. So I would encourage you to join such groups, join such forums. Okay, be an active participant in such work. Literature is good. We can get the videos in YouTube. We can get read books. We can read research papers. But these kind of forums give you an edge. You know what is currently happening. You know what people are sharing, what people are talking about, and I would definitely encourage you to use that as a platform uh, to increase your knowledge and get uh, to get to know what is happening around the world. Okay, that is only the point of encouragement from my side to use these kind of platforms. Okay, so move to next.
Sure,
Can we move to next slide? This is
Yes, sir.
managerial talk. How to go ahead and how to balance your life. So after say about 18 or 19 years, I'm not only there in the technology field. I am also in the management field. See, human psychology, our kind of aspirations, and the success we achieve, the failures that we face, makes a human either successful or a failure. A lot depends on your mental and emotional state. How you do not get your success to go over your head, and how you not allow your failures to dampen your strength to go more, to do more, to go ahead. That is a very important thing. And I can just tell you, in my opinion, Vinod Kamdi was having a good show at that point of time than Sachin Tendulkar. But the kind of emotional state made the difference between that. Apart from the technique, whatever it is, it happens with everyone. Somebody who you see very successful in a particular domain, it may or may not be due to his or her own activities only. This is a fact. Some will argue. I never say that a particular person is achieved his or her greatness by his or her own virtue. They generally use their skill in such a way that they reap the benefit from the position or the opportunities given to him or her. Now, each one of us strive to achieve success in our life. We don't want to be a failure in the life. But then again comes the concept of equilibrium. Okay, to somebody to be rich, someone has to be poor, or you have to be successful, someone has to be unsuccessful. Yes, this is a part of the game. That's why you will gear for success in your life, but you should not get dampened by failures, because you know the opportunity knocked at your door. Maybe for some reason you were not at the top spot, but that does not say that in future you cannot achieve the success. So you have to be strong there. Success is good, but only a particular somebody writes a book, gets a prize, thereafter there is no work from him or her. That is again say one time fluke or two times fluke. Okay, so success should not dampen you that you forget your goals. Also, the failure should not stop you from working. That is very important in your life. And you also have to keep in your mind is that what the opportunities are and how you have to take the best from these opportunities that are presented to you. Generally, we divide them into long-term goals and baby steps. A long-term goal is something that you plan for, say, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And these goals generally change drastically. Okay, the 5 year goal may be something like this, but the situations will change and the goals have to be changed. So there are some long-term goals that you specify in your diary. Okay, in 5 years, I have to be there in this position, working this, do that. My goals are this and that, and they may be reviewed every year. You can make those changes there. But those are your long goals, and you should not use a lot of time analyzing on those. Those are once written, and you can revisit them after a year or so. Not every day you think about those goals. This should be very clear to you. Then the second term, baby steps. What I am going to do today, maybe in the evening, maybe tomorrow, maybe a day after tomorrow. Those are the baby steps that you are doing now. Your exams are there in a week. How you are preparing for them? That is not a long-term goal. Okay, that may be more than baby steps, but I would say those are very near future kind of things, and you focus on them. You keep yourself involved in those activities, and from those activities you will finally will have an impact on these long-term goals. So take your goals, divide them in these two sections. Long-term goals, write them down, keep them aside, review them yearly, or maybe in a particular interval as you think they are. Think about these your short-term goals or baby steps that you have to take, okay, and grow yourself up. So these are the 2 cents from me. Fine. One is you should enjoy your success, but not enjoy much. You should not too much dampened by your failure. So failure should not break you down, and you should plan your goals and put them into category and plan it well and thinking about the short-term goals only. I'm done with this. So anything you want to ask about this planning, what I have suggested?
Yeah, sir. Actually, I have some questions. From this session. So, can I ask that, sir? I have little. 2 or 3 questions about this.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I love this session and got to know a lot thing about by these talks. So I have some few practical question about this machine learning and this artificial intelligence which arose during this discussion.
Okay.
My first question is that as we are discussing about the first process of machine learning, that data collection and analysis. That I want to ask that all the data which we are getting, that all are cleaned, or means we are, after getting that we have to make it clean or, by our own.
Yes, you see, since we are gathering data from our surroundings, it might not be necessarily clean. So that's why there is a term known as pre-processing of data. That is very much important in the context of machine learning. Say, someday your instrument is not working fine and it is giving you the garbage data. So before using that data into your model, you have to does the pre-processing or cleaning of data. Okay. For
Yes.
example, if the reading is 4.2, 3.9, 10.2, 3.7, now whether this 10.2 is a sudden spike or is that a valid data? This kind of questions that are being asked in pre-processing of data. Also, if you are having missing data, whether you want to treat them you want to interpolate them and make some assumption about those data values, or you want to just discard those data and you say the last data was from Wednesday and this data is now on Saturday, and in between them whatever the garbage data is, I am going to discard them. So that is there. So the data is not always clean data. You have to do data preprocessing to clean it.
Okay, sir. So then, what are the pre-processes that we can clean the data? Can you suggest us some
Uh,
this?
I would definitely like to talk with you, and if it may happen, okay, we can schedule another such interaction totally on this artificial intelligence and machine learning. It will be better because if I go dig deeper, since the field is such a huge field, okay, I may consume about 2 to 3 hours on discussing this. So
Yes, sir.
okay, so what I suggest, those who are interested in artificial intelligence and machine learning, get in touch with me. We can make a session, okay, maybe a couple of hours session, and we will specifically talk only about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Actually, I have just one last question. So I
Sure.
just want to you, sir. As I have a 4 GB RAM system, so is it possible to train a AI model over this local type of systems?
AI model is a very big word actually. We are using machine learning models now, okay, maybe deep learning models also. Uh, you will see most of the people talk about those heavy graphics cards for this computational floating point computations to take place there, and also huge amount of RAM to do the work. Obviously, it always depends on the data set and the kind of model that we were using. If you are using, say, about linear regression or logistic regression, it does not matter. If you are using your scikit-learn to do some logistic regression, you can use your CPU and go ahead. But if you are going for a LSTM bidirectional LSTM kind of model with a trillion pieces of data, this is not going to work.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so it always depends on the amount of data you have, also the kind of model that you are going to work with.
Yes, sir. Sir, for your means for contacting you, can I get your mail ID or something like that?
Sure, sure, no problem. I'll give you my mobile number, I'll give you my mail ID. No problem as such. Okay, it will be available with you. And we, as I said, we can have a separate session on AI and machine learning in future. Okay,
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
alright, not to mention. They see this side, AI, ML, coding, computer science. This is there. But what I wanted to say in this slide is that computer science is a domain. I'd rather say computer science and engineering is a domain which talks about how the hardwares are, how the timings and signals pass from one point to the other. Even on a chip that is a central processing you are having a control unit, you are having an arithmetic and logic unit, you are having floating point unit. Previously, you used to have 86 architectures. Now we are talking about 64-bit architecture, where multiple number of control units and processing units may present on a single die. Okay, so There is hardware, there is software, and there people used to talk about software engineering. Now they talk about software architecture, operating system design, compiler design. You are having database management systems, so many things, and all they are put together in computer science and engineering. So it's a huge kind of branch. Previously, people used to do their bachelor's. As I have seen, you will open up your books and look at the author's biography. You will find the person has done his bachelor's degree physics, chemistry, mathematics, or electrical science, and thereafter did a master in computer science. And I think that that was the best scenario in that case, because you have certain problems, you want the answers using computational methodologies and technologies available to you. Then you are doing this. Now, those people who are going to design a chip, okay, somebody who is going to work in Intel, or somebody is going to work in AMD or ARM or whatever this Texas Instruments or something like the National Instruments. Okay, so those has to be computer engineering kind of fellows. About science, somebody is who wants to work in Microsoft or Google has to know about how the operating system is developed, how the real-time services are monitored, how security for these web frameworks are going to work. So those are the different stuff. Coding is nowadays people interpret it in different ways. You can write small programs, you can run them, you can know what are the basics of coding, but thereafter you have to grow. Coding is not everything. In India, there is a lot of emphasis on coding is because of the fact that most of the offshore works are not the actual research work, rather than some part implementation works, and for that they require coders. So coding is good. You have to know how to write programs. What you have to know how the different languages and frameworks work. That is obviously required. Okay, nowadays people focus on Python. Some are talking about Spark. Okay, Scala. So obviously you will focus on, but you have to also keep in mind it is nothing. It is not everything is about coding. There are other parts which are also very much interesting and of use. Like if you are going to join in a networking company, how the network should be designed so that the scalability is high, how the VLANs are configured, how the VPNs are configured. It is not only about coding. Okay, there are other aspects too in computer science and engineering other than coding, so that you have to keep in mind. Machine learning and AI. Machine learning is nowadays the buzzword. Obviously, all of us are working on machine learning, but machine learning is not AI, and machine learning is a section of AI. AI is either a specific level of intelligence that is provided to the machines, or general human level of intelligence that is provided to the machine. A part of them can be implemented with machine learning, but there are other concepts also. If you open a good AI book, you will come to know what they are. And during our session on AI and ML, I will discuss on these topics. How AI is much a broader science than ML. Okay, ML is something we will first jump into, and then we can dive into the deeper world of artificial intelligence. Okay, and questions. Okay, you can throw now, but I think more elaborate discussion will be done in future. Anything short questions that you have?
No, sir. So, like, I'll be wrapping up this with the last question. So, like, in this innovative and very competitive world, so, like, many more students, they want to learn everything at very young ages. So, like, all these interesting stuffs you talked about. So, which is not very much possible with this current education system, unless and until that kids are very super enthusiastic and they learn from that external sources and all. So how did you manage to do all these things and learn all these concepts at your age? And what is your message for the youth of India, like now, to what they should do?
You are very much right regarding the kind of syllabus or curriculum that are taught in our schools and colleges, obviously. Though I am not into academia, but I also my reservations against this kind of curriculum that are there. Maybe up to class 10 or class 12, the grooming is all around grooming. So up to class 10, you are taught all about social sciences, in literature and science and all mathematics and whatever you need to know. After that, you are taking a particular stream. Nowadays, obviously, this is going to change with new educational policies. There won't be any stream like science, arts, and commerce. You can choose your subject of your interests are. So there is this is the kind of academic curriculum that you follow up to 10th or 12th. But after that, there is again a particular kind of uh, disbalance and imbalance in the state of academia. Uh, they try to follow Stanford or different foreign universities, but they don't know whatever the students are they getting the concepts clear. It is not only about your doing assignments or doing some projects or directly doing coding. You have to make sure the concept is known. Only when your basics are clear you are going to develop on your basics. You have to focus more on practical aspects rather than going through the theories. You have to have laboratories where they tend to put 90% effort in training than 10% of doing the implementation. Okay, you have to train a person, then only he can do develop a model, do write some code and do something like this. So yes, I have my reservation on that. And then how to overcome these problems nowadays, because the online different number of online programs are there, and you will have reviews of them available in this kind of forums and all the other discussion forums that we have. So again, I'll encourage you to use those kind of forums to know about a particular course. Okay, there may be some course from the course area giving some say time series analysis with R. You will can find the reviews in different forums, how good the course is, what they taught, whatever the syllabus they have offered, what kind of teaching they did, how the people got benefited, not whatever is written advertisement on the course area page, but rather on the forums where the actual users took that course and gave their feedback is available. You have to have your interest in a particular domain, work it out there. Like if you are going to work in ML and AI, knowing the mathematics behind of them is going to be very important to you. You have to dive into statistics. You have to dive into the computation of matrix algebra. You have to dive into the concepts of probability. Okay, those you have to learn and understand. And if you are a little weak, then you have to take your own time to do that. As regards with me, see, I was not having a very broad spectrum. As I said, I also have limited knowledge. It is very difficult to have all the kind of knowledge available to you. So I only have limited knowledge, which is not directly in my domain. The work that I am doing, I generally tend to develop my knowledge on it, then try to build on it, and from the mistakes I used to learn and note. That's my kind of simple process to go out with the work. And finally, you will develop your interest. And now, when I was tasked with forecasting, there is a traditional aspect of forecasting which is there, which uses some other arrangements. But there is data-driven forecasting. So I thought that I can do something in this. I tried to learn about this AI and ML and built on it. This is the same thing that you can do, or better. Take my advice. I won't say do what I am doing. Take my point, analyze it. If you have any other opinion built on it, this is another thing that I'm going to tell you. Do not directly follow what someone is advising. Take it into in your opinion, analyze it. If you think there are certain good points there, put them in your repository. Otherwise, ignore them. Okay. This is what I have for you. So,
Excuse me,
I think
sir.
only a single slide is left. It's about science, mathematics, physics, electronics, and psychology. Some person were interested. So we all know in science stream, we are having mathematics, physics, chemistry, and all the other different branches. And everyone will say that our branch is of most import. And I would say I value them each and everything with the same kind of capability. Physics cannot be explained with mathematics, and mathematical derivations, if not put into the physical work, they are of no value. So everything is interrelated with one another. Okay, and human psychology is something from our ancient India to ancient great philosophers we have worked on. And until and unless we imagine things, we try to we try to put our hypothesis into the picture. We will never have our theorems and our lemmas and all the other things. So hypothesis will come first. So you have to think, and you
Yes,
also
sir. Just I have one.
sure, go ahead. You have one.
Yes, sir. Sir, just I want to ask that as you are an expert in all these domains and have a very good experience on this,
Sorry.
can
I
you
am
let
not
me
expert in
suggest?
all these domains. Please try to understand. As I am saying, I am only a human being. It is not possible for me to understand each and every domain. Okay, I know a little bit,
Yes,
and
yes,
I
sir.
am
But
sharing with you. That's how we grow.
yes, sir. So, sir, means from your knowledge, means experience you have gained in this field. So, can you let me suggest some field means as you personally feel in which domains the most valuable means which domain is very valuable in means rich in the futuristic startup means apart from this space and astronomy things.
Okay, now this question, I will not give you any suggestion on this. Let me tell you why. You see, suggestions are very dangerous kind of thing, as I told you earlier. Suggestions are dangerous in the sense that it is only my opinion. Whatever is valid for me may not be equally of importance to your case. So, what I will say to you instead is that in each and every domain, you are having 1% to 5% people who are at the top layer, who are the cream, we say, for in that particular area or in that particular field. And rest of them comes in between or even lower. What you can do, you try to understand what your basic thought process is, the subjects which interest you, the things that you want to do, the things that you like to do, the things that are in your comfort zone, and develop on it. Try to go into this 1 to 10% people who are working in that particular domain, rather than choosing a particular domain which is not much comfortable with you. Work in your domain, but you want to achieve the kind of greatness or the kind of success in that particular domain. Okay, whatever it is, even from this the civil engineering jobs to the electrical engineering jobs to the consulting jobs, whatever the things are, you can choose anything that is of comfortable to you. Even in the future, all the work is going to be required. It is not that I can design a building by artificial intelligence itself. I'll read my civil engineer to make up the drawing. Maybe AI can help. Okay, somebody has to use the defined kind of technologies, the motor and the stuff to do that. So everything is important, and everything will be of value. But you have to follow your own passion. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Keep that in mind. What you are comfortable with, what you want to work on. Okay, let me give you a personal information. My father wanted me to be a doctor. I denied him eventually in my 11. I say I do not understand biology as much in 10, and if I am a doctor, I will rather kill more people than survive them and then relieve them. So, my personal opinion, I think that it is very bad for me to be a doctor. Now you understand the point.
Yes, sir.
I was having very low confidence that if I go for this medical degree, what will happen with me? This is self-evaluation. Okay, maybe I was wrong in that evaluation. Maybe I could have been a doctor also, but at that point of time, what I felt, it is not the field what I want to join. I do not feel comfortable with. So always work in your comfort zone. Okay,
Yes, sir.
good. So since this is going to be my last slide, I want to have an overall discussion. Okay, regarding this session, anything you like to suggest, add, or ask about the whole session? I took the liberty of individual discussion because it may not happen that after going through 10 or 15 slides and listening for 2 hours, you will summarize them up and ask the questions. So, in my approach is that after each and individual discussion, individual presentation, we will have a discussion. Now, this is the overall discussion that we can have. If you have anything to say, suggest, ask, or discuss, we can do it now.
Sir, there's a recent concept that came into light about. So there's a project called as Rods from God. I think you should be familiar with it.
No, because nowadays I am only trying to forecast my above data. So
Yes, sir.
I am not
Sure, sir.
going that much deeper.
Yes, sir. Now because
Okay.
space
But
defense has
you can
become
discuss.
one
I
of
am
the.
listening. I am learning from you.
Yes,
Yes,
sure.
please.
So because the space defense has now become a possibility, Rods of God is something that has come from theory to now they are planning that yes, this can be a reality, and NASA is working on it. Now the whole thing is that there will be a circle, constantly revolving cylinder in the space. Along the circumference, there will be tungsten rods the size of electric poles. So there will be such huge tungsten rods which will be revolving along with it. Now, what like we see that for firing something, like suppose when we use a gun, there's an initial force that is attached to it. Here, while launching it, it's simply a drop, like we drop a pin and let gravity do its work. And so what will happen is that the tungsten rod, because it's from such a height, it will gather its own speed, and instead of just destroying things over the land surface, it can penetrate well deep into the earth and destroy any underground bunkers or such like that. Now, this is
Sankal, means one thing you said it that was wrong. See, orbital mechanics doesn't work like that. One thing in orbit, you can just drop it and it will fall into the earth. You have to reduce, means you have to reduce its speed and you have to properly deorbit it for it to enter the Earth's Earth atmosphere. So it's like you can just throw something from the orbit and it will fall into the Earth. It will keep rotating in the same orbit until you reduce its velocity.
that there will be a little bit of initial force, because see, if you are completely means without zero amount of force, if you're dropping it, it will be simply like it's due to its inertia, it will keep revolving. So there will be a bit of, but that's very minute as compared to the amount of energy we are using to launch missiles and all. Am I true, Ankar?
Actually,
Comparatively, it will be less.
huge difference, huge topic, so it will take a lot of time. We are already means
I just wanted to
out
know
of time,
how
and
is India focusing on that? How well have we gone into space defense?
See, if you want to know about the projects that are being taken, some of them are confidential and some of them are totally secret. So I can neither confirm nor deny what is being worked on.
Sure.
Okay, so apart from that, I can talk on the concepts, but whether they are being worked on or not, as I said, I cannot confirm. He can neither deny what is happening. Okay, these are my obligations with. But we can talk about, as I said, you always need a platform to discuss. The ideas will come up and we can discuss on them. Okay, what I think, what my take from this session is that we have a good number of people who want to discuss on a large number of topics. So this is not going to be the one-time affair between you and me. This is the first of the many meetings that will take place, and we can take up topics as such, and we can discuss among us and even argue our points. Obviously, we always have our own point of view. So we will put our point, we put our logic, and maybe that can be cross-validated or post-questioned by someone else. Okay, and we can do this regular affair when you are free. So I will give my mail ID and the phone number. Okay, with Ajinshu or with Tanvi, both of them, I think, because Tanvi contacted me first, Ajinshu later on. Sorry, Anjishnu, yes, Anjishnu. Sorry, very sorry for that. Anjishnu later on. Okay, and we can obviously on a Sunday, because I will be free on Sundays. We can have a meeting and we can always have a particular agenda to discuss. Okay, and it's not that only I have to talk and you have to listen. You can talk. We can argue with one another, and finally we can learn from each other. Okay, we can do it in a regular way whenever you are free and want to discuss obviously.
Sure, that would be a privilege.
Yeah, see, I'm an enthusiastic guy. I want to talk. Okay, and I always open for discussions. So that would be also a great learning curve for me. I try to learn because I feel that even I have to learn from you people. The way you have approached. Yeah, at my 11th, I don't think I had that capability in me. Truly speaking. Okay, so good job you are doing. In the course of time, you will get to know me, and I will also get to know you. And Anjishnu, Tanvi is not present here, and Ankan, Sankar, Satvik, Rishabh, Varshini. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. It was a very good time. It is a time well spent with you, and I am also happy to talk with you, discuss with you certain topics. Okay, and in future, I also look forward to talk with you, discuss with you, even argue with you about the subject.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
I would like to request you to please turn on the video. Like we're gonna just take a screenshot. We're gonna just keep this as a memory.
Okay,
So that would be great as a souvenir. So I'd like to sure.
Fine. Just a second. Where is it? Yeah.
I request everyone so that they can switch on the video.
Now this is me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable time and valuable words.
Value is always found by the people who use them. Okay, I am only here to say the things only if you gather something from it. All what I have said is data. Now it's on you to find out information from it. Okay, so whether the data is relevant or irrelevant, I don't know. I try to deliver it with the best of my abilities. Now it's up to you how you are going to get some information from it and use to your own advantage. That is also another thing of importance. Okay, best of luck, and hopefully we'll be in touch.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
So is this